Grandmaster Trainer on Mind Mapping, and I've been joined again today by Dominic O'Brien, who is, of course, the 8 times World Memory Champion. He's sharing his knowledge, sharing his hints and tips on how to use memory in everyday life. But question I've got for you today, Dominic, is I heard a term a couple of weeks ago. I wonder if you could explain to me, what is hyperthymesia?
Hyperthymesia, otherwise known as super autobiographical memory, there are a handful of people around the world that are able to remember any day of their life and be able to explain what the weather system was like, what was on television, what was the politics at the time, any major event. And there are a number of theories on how they can do this, but if you listen to them, you can see YouTube videos, they all say, well, they don't know how they do it, but in a way, it's almost as if it's an irritation for them. I was asked to do, and I did a documentary a few years back with a young man called Aurelian, who was able to memorize, I think, from the age of 10 or 11 every day of his life. And so he's put to the test, like, what was June the 17th, 2008? He said that was a Tuesday. And he remembered it because it was the day after he finished his GCSEs. He remembered he had curry on that day. And he also watched Loose Women on television with Joan Rivers, who swore. So that's an example of what he was able to remember. Now, I have a theory on this. If you take, I think it was 10 years that he knew of his life, that is around 3,650 days. If you think what we have to do at the World Memory Championships, we have 15 minutes to memorize as many words. I usually attempt about 200. So I think comfortably in an hour, the top memorizers can remember 500 words. A couple of hours a day, they could probably remember 1,000 words or 1,000 items. So in 3 or 4 days, they've got 3,000 to 4,000 items that they feasibly could remember. Let's say in a week. Now, if you're keeping a diary and you've got 3,650 events, it may only need one word to trigger that particular day. I don't know whether you keep a diary, Elaine, but if you look back on a particular event, a few words will trigger whatever the episodes were in your life at the time. So I think if you had the desire, the interest to do this, I think it would be possible for all of us using these techniques to have a super autobiographical memory. So I think probably some of these people who claim to have hyperthymesia, they might just be fanatical about their lives and their diaries, and they might be using techniques. What do you think?
Well, I do keep a diary. I keep a mind map diary, have done for years. I've got a whole series of notebooks, and I can see how that could work because, of course, each mind map has a unique central image. So I could certainly set up a route for a year where there were these 365 central images. And yeah. I know if you review a mind map at the appropriate time, then you've got almost perfect recall of your mind map. So I could see there would be a process for remembering every single day of your life between a certain period. I'm less clear about why I would want to do that, although taking a stroll through your diaries is usually a very joyful experience, usually. But yeah, fascinating feat of memory. But the biggest question from you would be, but why would you want to do it?
Yes, it's almost as if they're suffering from or enjoying super nostalgia. I can remember the first moon landing, July the 16th, 1969. I can remember being in my pajamas, being allowed to stay up to watch this. So information does come back. Now, if I wanted to string it all together, then I would just use a series of journeys to do it. Maybe I'll try that next year. I'll keep a diary from January the 1st for the whole year and see how I do.
Oh dear, as the arbiter, does that mean I have to test you on Hogmanay?
Be pretty gory reading.
Well, I'll see if I'm amazed this time next year. Thank you very, very much, Dominic.